Hey folks, Deadpool here. You know why Iron Man doesn't like English grammar? Because he can't iron out the wrinkles in it. Now, I know what you're thinking. Why is Deadpool, the most unconventional superhero out there, teaching us about parts of speech? Well, it's simple. I'm the only one who's had enough run-ins with my CIE A-level English teacher to truly understand the chaos that is English grammar. You see, when you've dealt with as many tongue twisters and head scratchers as I have, you gain a certain expertise. I've wrestled with nouns, battled with verbs, and even had a few showdowns with those sneaky adjectives. And don't even get me started on prepositions. So I figured, why not share my hard-earned wisdom with all of you? After all, if I can survive a duel with Wolverine, I can certainly teach you the difference between your and your. So buckle up, grammar nerds. It's time for your favorite masked vigilante to teach you a thing or two. What's the Hulk and a noun got in common? They're both the subjects of attention. Now picture this, folks. You're in a crowded metropolis and suddenly, Superman swoops down from the sky. What's the first thing you notice? That's right, it's Superman. Not the city, not the crowd, but Superman himself. Why? Because he's the noun, the main subject of your sentence. Your attention, like a well-trained puppy, goes straight to him. Nouns, my friends, are the superheroes of speech. They're the Batmans, the Wonder Womans, the Iron Mans of our sentences. They're the main characters, the subjects, the things, the people, the places, the ideas. They're what we build our sentences around. Just like we build our comics around superheroes. Let's take an example. Spider-Man is swinging through New York. Spider-Man, New York, these are your nouns. They're the superheroes of the sentence. Without them, we'd be left with is swinging through. Sounds like a bad hangover, doesn't it? You see, nouns are like the Incredible Hulk. They're big, they're bold, and they're often the center of attention. But just like the Hulk, they can take different forms. Proper nouns like Captain America or Thor are specific. They're the names of individual people, places, or things. Then you've got common nouns like superhero or city, which are more general. And then there are abstract nouns. Those are like the vision. They're a bit more elusive, representing ideas, qualities, or states, like love, freedom, or justice. You can't touch them, but they're there, just like vision phasing through walls. So folks, remember, nouns are like your superheroes. They're the main deal. But let's not forget their sidekicks, because without them, our superheroes would be just like Batman without Robin, like Iron Man without Jarvis, or like me without my charming sarcasm. And who would want that, right? If I were a part of speech, I'd definitely be a verb. After all, I'm all about action. Now, verbs, my friends, are the real deal, the movers and shakers of the sentence world. They're like me, Deadpool, always in the thick of things, making stuff happen. Let's break it down. Verbs are the action words in a sentence. They tell us what's going down, what's being done. So when I say, Deadpool obliterates the bad guys, obliterates is the verb. It's the action I'm doing. Pretty cool, huh? But verbs are not just about physical actions. Oh no, they're way more versatile than that. They can also express mental actions or states of being. For example, when I say, Deadpool contemplates the meaning of chimichangas, contemplates is the verb. It's a mental action. And when I say Deadpool is the most charming, witty, and humble superhero, is the verb. It's a state of being. Now let's add a little spice to this grammar fiesta. Verbs also have different forms called tenses. These tenses tell us when the action is happening, past, present, or future. Like when I say yesterday Deadpool defeated Thanos, defeated is the verb in the past tense. Right now, Deadpool is enjoying a well-deserved chimichanga. Is enjoying is the verb in the present tense. And tomorrow, Deadpool will save the world again. Will save is the verb in the future tense. So whether you're slinging swords, contemplating chimichangas, or just being your amazing self, remember that verbs are at the heart of it all, pumping action into every sentence. They're like me, always ready for action, always ready to steal the show. So just like me, verbs are the action-packed stars of any sentence. But what's an action without a little drama? Adjectives are like Spider-Man's web. They stick to nouns and make them look cooler. Now, who wouldn't want to hang out with the cool kids, right? That's exactly what adjectives do. They're like the best buds of nouns, always ready to jazz them up. Let's dive into the world of adjectives, shall we? Picture Spider-Man swinging across the city, performing his cool stunts. Now, if Spider-Man were a noun, his stunts would be the adjectives. They make him look cool, daring, and adventurous. Similarly, adjectives add color, shape, size, and a whole lot more to our everyday nouns. Oh, and speaking of cool stunts, let's not forget about my dramatic moments. Who could forget when I, Deadpool, the humorous, sarcastic, and unpredictable superhero, single-handedly took down an entire gang of baddies? Those adjectives right there just made that scene 10 times more interesting, didn't they? But don't let my superhero antics distract you. The point here is that adjectives are your go-to guys when you want to describe or specify something about a noun. They answer questions like what kind, how many, or which one. They're like the cherry on top of a sundae, the pepperoni on your pizza, or the chimichangas in my lunchbox. They just make things better. Remember, my friends, adjectives are more than just fancy words. They're the life of the party, bringing nouns to life and adding depth to your sentences. They're like the special effects in a superhero movie. They make everything more exciting and visually appealing. So the next time you're crafting a sentence, don't forget to invite the adjectives. They'll make your noun stand out, just like how my red suit makes me stand out in a crowd of boring, monochromatic superheroes. Adjectives, my friends, add that extra zing to your boring nouns. But wait, there's more. Stay tuned because we're just getting started. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming up next. Adverbs, prepositions, conjunctions, they're like the Nick Fury of your sentences. They hold everything together. You know, the guy with the eye patch, always lurking in the shadows, pulling strings. Well, that's what these parts of speech do. They're the unappreciated heroes of our language, working behind the scenes to make sure everything runs smoothly. Let's start with adverbs. They're like Spider-Man's web. They stick to verbs, adjectives, even other adverbs, giving them a bit more oomph. They tell us how, when, where, and to what extent something happens. So when I say, I swiftly dodge Wolverine's attack, swiftly is the adverb, making sure you know I'm not just dodging, I'm dodging like a boss. Then we have prepositions. They're like Dr. Strange's portals, linking nouns to other words, showing relationships of time, place, or direction. If I say, I'm chilling on top of the Avengers Tower, on top of is the preposition, letting you know where I'm lazing about like a king. And finally, conjunctions. They're like Tony Stark's tech, connecting words, phrases, and clauses. Without them, our sentences would be as disjointed as Thor's haircut in Ragnarok. So when I say, I love tacos but they give me gas, but is the conjunction, linking my undying love for tacos with the unfortunate side effects. Remember, folks, adverbs, prepositions, and conjunctions may not have the flashy powers or the fancy costumes. You won't see them headlining their own movies or getting action figures. But they're the glue, the thread, the duct tape that holds our language together. They're the unsung heroes, the Nick Furies of our sentences. So these guys might not be the stars, but without them, your sentence would be as chaotic as a day in my life. All right, folks, time for a quick recap, Deadpool style. So let's start with the big guns. The nouns, the superheroes of speech. They're your Iron Mans and Wonder Womans, the big names that carry the weight in your sentences. Next up, we've got the verbs, our action heroes. They're the Batmans and Black Widows, doing all the heavy lifting, making things happen. Adjectives, those are your dramatic enhancers, the Thors and Scarlet Witches, adding a bit of flair and sparkle to the mix. And don't forget our supporting cast, the adverbs, prepositions, and conjunctions. They're the Hawkeyes, the Visions, the War Machines, tying everything together, keeping the team, or in this case, your sentence, running smoothly. And that, my friends, is how you supercharge your sentences. Remember, every word has its role, just like every hero in a team. And if you forget that, well, you might end up sounding as confused as Professor X at a hair salon.